Woman on the edge.
That's the first thing everybody heard tonight. First thing, Joe Colton, woman on the edge. Good evening, everybody. It is Friday. It is 9 p.m. or just thereafter. Welcome to the special Friday edition, Boozes Out, of the What's on Joe Mind TeamStream. I'm Mike Irizarry. With me, of course, this evening, you see him next to me. Over there.
Over there?
Over there, that's the way. It's the honcho, Mark Weber.
High five. Oh, again.
Oh, you got it the other way.
Yes.
I got nothing.
I'm happy we're here on a Friday. We delayed on purpose.
We did.
Just in case any news broke today.
Yeah. We were just starting to set up for Thursday, and then all of a sudden they put out the word, "Oh, hey, we're doing a G.I. Joe Fan Friday," and it was, well, I guess we're going Friday then.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm sure everybody's been out and they've already heard all the rest, and now they can stay up late and watch the best.
That's what I'm talking about.
But what'd you do with your extra day off there, Mark Weber?
I was watching the kids all last week, baby, and then this week I don't think we did anything spectacular last night, but the Friday night ritual in the Weber household, we get in our new Mandalorian episode.
Ooh.
So we made sure to get that done before the podcast. But in the spirit of no spoilers, I ain't gonna say nothing.
Good, because I'd hate to have to kick you off.
Right? I think you got to give it through the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Come Monday, if you haven't watched it by Monday, that's on you. But yeah, for me there's some Yahoo will throw up stories at 1 a.m. or right after it drops, and I'm like, come on. Some people work, some people don't. But
I mean, again, it's why we're here Friday at 9 p.m. It's because we got jobs, right?
That's it.
I watched the presentation this morning, and then I got in the car and went to work.
That's it.
Mark, you were already at work.
And I closed my office door and took an early lunch break, and was happy it only lasted half an hour, so I didn't have to explain.
And Joe Colton just caught the replay because she was stuck in meeting hell.
Yep.
Yeah, it's considered bad form to be watching G.I. Joe while you're in 3 different consecutive overlapping Zoom meetings. So you got to be professional.
That's why she's drinking.
That's it. Still drinking.
Also joining us this evening, as you can see down below.
Yeah,
it's Joe Colton, everybody. Woman on the edge herself.
I terrified the guys when I came in.
What did you do with your extra night off?
I had a night off.
Well, Thursday night.
Technically.
I worked.
Man.
Not really.
It's kind of some BS.
Yeah. It's 60 days, man. I got 60 days, and then we're good.
Don't you ever give them the "Don't you know who I am" speech?
Yeah. No one gives two hoots.
I'm Joe Colton. I'm on What's on Joe Mind. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah, I could say that, and then they will say, "Great. Can we start the meeting now?"
Yeah. Joe, I know you are linguistically talented. Do you speak any German?
No. I took it in high school, but I don't speak it anymore.
You can come in as the German Joe Colton and tell them everything, exactly where to go, and then it's not going to get back to you.
If I had pearls, I'd be clutching them right now.
Right?
It's only me.
So in the background, sharp-eyed fans will notice the wrist lock.
Yeah.
Everybody wave hello to the wrist lock.
That's what I'm talking about.
Digging in with a fresh basket of C-Nugs.
That's it.
No!
Apparently, nobody puts baby in the corner, but Wes, sometimes
he's all right with the corner. He's got video games. He's fine.
Yeah. He's got a folder full of Star Trek cards. He's good.
Yeah, he's got stuff going on. He's got hobbies, man. He's not like us. He's got stuff going on. The gears are always turning.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, we watched a little Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock this week. The kids hadn't seen it yet.
Did they like it?
They thought Kirk's son didn't put up much of a fight. Just kind of, yeah. So
you're not wrong.
I forgot that the actress who plays Saavik changed because Kirstie Alley was tired of fighting off Captain Kirk. Get away from me.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh goodness. Come on now. Don't be telling stories about Billy Schatz.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He's Mr. Suave. Don't judge him.
Billy Schatz.
There are ladies who still go nuts for him.
Well, yeah, because the date pool when you get 90 years old starts to get a little shallow, you know.
He's the man.
No, he's married.
So
Shatner? Yeah.
So
So
cut back on his dating life.
I would say so.
I'm just saying.
But I believe in the sanctity of marriage.
There you go. Well, give it a while. and come on, who's right there? I mean, what are you gonna say? Right?
Now he's like, yeah, okay. Yep.
Or whatever.
I'm all alone on this floor, so I'm a big man. Boy, let me tell you.
My marriage advice is a matter of public record in Jackson County, Missouri. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's all right. We still love you.
Hey, I'm glad somebody does.
Yeah.
Anyhow, earlier today, about 11 a.m. Eastern time, so about 10 hours ago, Hasbro Pulse did a Fan Friday event. And so lots of new stuff was shown out there. We will review that momentarily. I do want to address one thing before we get into that. For the last several weeks, we have been after you guys to sign our petition to help save Yojo, and to share and to spread that around. And unfortunately, we have some news that is not of the greatest variety in regards to the Save Yojo campaign, I guess you could call it. And let me find that here. I got how many windows open on this end, so bear with me just a second. There it is. And this is from the Facebook page of Yojo admin Terry Dizard. Officially at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this would have been 2 days ago, myself and the volunteer team of Yojo.com have resigned and no longer have any relationship with Vertical Scope. Due to their plans to turn the site into nothing but a forum and do something similar to the database content, Yojo.com no longer belongs to the G.I. Joe community at large. I have fought for nearly 3 years, doing everything from trying to repair the site to outright buying it with the help of some in the community. There is simply no way that we can pay what they are asking. I encourage the development of some type of alternative database be constructed by the community for the community in the same way that Yojo.com has for the last 23 years. I personally have now lost 15 years of work. 15 years of my life is gone, taken by a Canadian technocrat who eats up thousands of forums and websites of every imaginable type strictly to absorb the ad revenue. The owner of Vertical Scope moved from Canada to the Caribbean, where they run the company from a beach. It was fun while it lasted. So not a good ending to the Yojo.com saga there. It's still up. It's still going to be running for a while. Obviously, it's not going to be updated, so don't hold your breath waiting for any of that. Again, thanks to everybody who joined us and signed the petition that we threw together, just as a means of showing solidarity and support to those guys. You kind of expected that that's the way that was going to go, because they had really just turned a deaf ear to Terry most of the way in the first place, and that's why we did a petition for it, so we can just at least show them that there was a good several thousand folks that were willing to get behind what Terry wanted to do with the site. But sometimes you walk into a fight knowing that you're outgunned, and it doesn't mean that you don't go and fight the good fight anyway. And I feel that that's what we did there. So again, thanks to everybody who joined us and spread it around and took the time to show their support and love for the staff at yojo.com.
And even though, petitions don't rarely change, the outcome of a decision or a business or that sort of thing. But if nothing else, it showed Terry and Philip and the guys the support of the community. And that was what I told Terry, I think on that very thread was, I'm sorry this happened. And, I get it. It sucks. But it is an opportunity for the community to at least go, once you yojo.com was always like, it was the standard and it was the constant. And it was so constant that sometimes you forget to be appreciative of it. And by putting, a period at the end of that sentence, it does give the community an opportunity for Terry and Philip and others to say, you know what, thank you so much. Because in what is, sometimes a very divided community, there's one really unifying bit, and that's that everyone loves and everyone uses yojo.com. When I was at Hasbro, I used it multiple times daily. It has been incredibly important, always relevant, and tremendously helpful. And so while I'm really disappointed that this is the way it went, it does give the fans an opportunity to tell Terry and Phil, thanks so much for helping us, gauge our own collections and figure out what's accurate and what isn't, and do I want to pay that, and is this the right accessory, and all of that. There's never been a more valuable resource anywhere for the Joe community than yojo.com, and those guys deserve all the credit.
Yes, and by the same token, I'm sure that a website is a website, and websites can get redone. And I'm sure this isn't the last we've heard from either of them in this regard, because you can't keep a good man down, as the saying goes. So.
Nope.
Joe Colton, anything to add there?
It's just a shame. Like, those guys worked so hard on that, and it was basically the encyclopedia that I would go to, and just like anything I needed to look up, that's the first place I would go to every single time. Creating my lists from that website that I needed, like anything that I needed to find, or anything that I wasn't sure about, I would just go look it up there and get my answers. It's a shame. Like, those guys deserve better than that. But like you said, it's a website and it can be remade, and the knowledge that they have is invaluable. So
yep.
Thank you guys for doing everything that you guys did for the last 15 years. It is greatly appreciated by the community, and
let us know what the next step is. We'll be happy to help.
Yep. I was just about to say, well, we're ready to help anybody. So,
it's not the same, but our pal Carson at 3D Joe's has a really good research site too. Not at the same depth that Yojo had, but the quality is fantastic. So there is somewhere else to go right now if you don't want to give Vertical Scope any clicks whatsoever. So that's an option as well.
Yeah, if you have any real pressing questions, I would, of course, recommend the guys over at Jody Classified.
Yeah.
Just head over to Facebook and join that group, because if speaking as somebody who's part of that team, Lord knows there's plenty of questions I don't have the answers to, but somebody over there does.
Yep.
So if you've got anything that you just have to know about, that's a good place to ask it to. So it's an alternative resource in the interim. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to throw that at the beginning because Lord knows you don't want to end with that later.
Right.
It's that's just not good news, and it's too bad. And Lord knows we there's enough bad news out there. We don't need to keep drilling it into every facet of our lives. But anyways, back to Fan First Friday. The event opened up right about 11 o'clock this morning, and the first product they showed were the Jada Toys entries. with the vehicles. It was the Hiss, the Vamp Mark II, and the Snowcat, and which the marketing guy so deftly described as the Vamp MK2, because you don't want your marketing guys to actually know the product or anything.
Brand new.
And then, of course, the 6-pack of figures with Duke, Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, Storm Shadow, and Snake Eyes. They do look a little better in person than they did in the promotional photos.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because they looked kind of like they were made out of Play-Doh in the promotional photos. They did not look good at all originally.
I thought like birthday candles or melted crayons a little bit.
Yeah, they did not look good. But thankfully the real product is a little sharper than that.
Yeah.
And the vehicles are pretty neat. They're tiny but they're pretty cool. And they gave word that those were available at Walmart, both physically and online. So I don't think you're going to see those popping up anywhere else if you're interested in the die-cast Jada Toys stuff. The next bit that they showed was from Gilson Sports. It was a bit of a curveball. But Gilson is a winter sports company. They do skis and snowboards. And they have a line of G.I. Joe themed skis and snowboards that are coming out for this coming winter. And I did not get images of those because I figure we're dealing with a pretty small percentage of, toy collectors who actually go out and exercise when it's cold. But it is pretty cool.
Attacked.
What's that?
I feel attacked. I'm not in the snow.
You're from Canada, though. Snow is nothing to you.
Yeah, whatever.
Snow is like your normal state.
It's true.
But anyways, those are at gilsonsnow.com/Joe. Not G.I. Joe, just /Joe. So gilsonsnow.com/Joe. And we'll get that down in the notes. They're not there right now, but we'll have them there once we get the chance to edit things. We were putting things together very last minute tonight, so you have to pardon the lack of depth in the show notes right now.
And I love how they looked. I mean, they had Blizzard and Snow Job and the Snow Serpent and great picks.
Yeah, it was all applicable. All real snow guys.
Oh,
I think Snake Eyes.
No, wait, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't a snow trooper at all on any.
No, it was all Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
But in fairness to them, Snake Eyes is the one who's the money maker, so I'm not going to be too upset about that.
Yeah, he's in that new movie that's coming out
sometime at some point. He's there in it's what's it called? Wonder Woman 84. Is that what it's?
Yeah, coming out on Christmas.
That's right.
Merry Christmas, Joe.
Somebody will be glued to HBO, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
HBO Max.
Yeah, that's where it's going.
No.
You and Wes going to be in hazmat suits at a theater?
One of so Maggie's old theater, he'll probably get it, so we might just rent out the theater and get our little bubble and go.
That's nice. They'll just roll you in.
Yep.
Little hamster wheel.
Pour some popcorn in the hole in the top.
Sprinkle it in. Goodness.
I think I'm going to skip it. I'll wait for the Snyder cut. It'll be
right.
better. It'll be like 8 hours long. It'll be fantastic.
4 movies.
Yeah.
Well, so whatever. So long as they make the Flash less annoying, it's a win.
I didn't like him, so whatever.
Yeah, he was pretty terrible. But anyhow, I'm getting the we're moving into our the stuff we actually have. Joe Colton's doing like weird kung fu now. That's
how he ran.
I know. Just we have our first thing that we've got images for. This is the Super7. This was described as the quote first Super7 G.I. Joe figure, which implies there will be more. This is the 11-inch BAT, which we saw way back at New York Toy Fair. And you can see there it's got removable hand options. And supposedly the chest plate comes off, so you can do the battle damage thing on the chest plate if you want. No backpack for those things, from what I understand. I don't know how you're going to store all these hand attachments, but whatever. It's completely out of scale with everything else that's been done in the G.I. Joe line before. Either it's too big or it's too small. But sure, whatever, Super 7. We're with you. And that should be out this summer. I don't know. I'm not interested in it, so I didn't pay much attention to the release on that one.
I think it's really interesting here that they put the butt on the front. Is what it looks like here.
That is weird, but they learned from designing Duke and Beachhead and several other figures that you can't make those crotches too secure.
So this is the Cobra butt, not the bat, apparently.
The butt.
Also, it looks like his arms were on backwards, and again, he has a shrunken head.
Well, I've seen worse.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me so much with the bat. It's not a helmet for him. It's his
head.
So.
Yeah.
It does. Look, the bat is gold. Like, you should make bats all the time. It seems funny to me that a licensed partner actually beat Hasbro to the punch on making money on a bat. You know, however much money it makes, it's fine. It's cool. I don't need one, but I'm sure there are lots of fans who are after it.
Yeah, there's lots of bat fans out there, so I'm sure.
But yeah, you're dead on, Mike. Where's the backpack? Even if it was molded onto him, part of the same damn thing. Where's the backpack, man?
Yeah, just something sticking on his back with some pegs to.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel.
How much does this guy sell for, you think? Considering that a vintage bat with everything is what, $120 now?
Yeah.
Like, bats went through the roof about 6 months ago.
I don't know why.
Well, no, we know why. Because everybody's stuck at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody loves robots.
Robots is where it's at.
Not everybody.
Everybody who counts.
So you like the bat. Not this bat, but no?
I have a couple. Not a fan. He's not my favorite.
Everybody who counts loves robots.
I respect it. I respect it that your hate for robots is so pure that you hate the best G.I. Joe robot ever. Right? It's like the nicest guy in prison.
If you're just really stuck on 11-inch bat, you can treat it like it's the bat with 2 A's. Like it's the old Star Brigade bat.
I've got 2 different individuals have this in a life-size version, and it is quite uncomfortable and sweaty and gross.
I bet.
Yeah.
And heavy. Like, the arm is heavy, the backpack's heavy, the whole thing is heavy and uncomfortable in Atlanta heat.
Well,
so says her parents. She knows what she's talking about.
Right? Like I don't know. I don't have any. I don't have anything against the folks who pursue your hobby, but I do have to say that if you're making the decision to go out and march around Atlanta in costume,
yes,
you kind of reap what you sow.
Yeah,
that's true. I have a couple. I didn't army build these guys. They're not red ninjas, man.
No.
Well, if you army built these like you army built red ninjas, we'd be paying $150 for a bat.
Yeah. Boy, how much did you hate the blue ninjas, right, from the comic? They were robots and they were trying to steal the thunder, right, from your boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like them because they're a different ninja. Yeah. I know, but they're still ninjas.
I'm just trying to figure out the rules, Joe.
That's your first mistake, Mark.
Yeah.
First mistake.
No rules.
You know what I'm saying, Wes? Yeah, he knows.
He
He's
knows.
just shaking his head. No.
Smart man.
But solidarity, Wes.
Right. Wes is like, leave me out of this, man. You guys log off at 10.
It's his reality.
Don't wind her up.
You just gave us a brief C-nugs in solidarity there. Man's got guts. Man's got guts. But moving forward, now that we've got the Super7 B.A.T out of the way, we get to probably the most universally praised section of the presentation today, and that was, of course, the classified entries. Flint and Lady J.
Woohoo!
And yeah, they were both winners.
Yeah.
That we'll go through some of the images here. You see in this photo where Lady J has the short haircut like you saw her with on the cartoon, whereas Flint looks pretty much like Flint. Or there's like a different hair attachment to where Lady J can have her hat on instead. And they put the little G.I. Joe logo on the hat as opposed to the airborne wings or whatever. But I think that probably works better in this context anyhow.
And check out that left arm on Lady J. A lot of fans are pointing this out right away for our articulation freaks out there. Double jointed elbow.
Right.
Oh my God, so good.
Right.
Man.
And what about the chest cut, Mark? Any problems there?
Well, I mean, they put a strap over it to try to hide it. So, they're already apologizing for it. Flint looks great because they covered it up with a catcher's chest protector, basically.
Yeah, with the tack vest.
Yeah, so make it look kind of thick. But, if Flint's a big guy, and if you put a giant vest on him with suspenders, yeah, he's going to look kind of thick. So these two didn't bother me too much. The aesthetic of her shirt doesn't work as well as Scarlet or the Baroness did. But as we've said before, and we always try to be tasteful about this, the female form lends itself to the chest cut easier than the guys have it. So, but I love that they gave her the hat and the hair option, because Jay really has two iconic looks. And for something as important as what the head looks like, I was a little worried when they announced Lady J that they would have to pick one. And I think they did a really good job of leaving it up to the fans. And I'm really glad that apparently it comes with the hair on in the package with the hat off to the side, because it would look really creepy, right? If you came with a hat on and then with a battle toupee, like not good. But
just the hair,
right? But you may have to boil it in water to stretch it out or something. But if you could put it on Roadblock or something, that'd be awesome. Or Destro, right? Destro wants to turn up the heat a little bit. Baroness is coming over, so he puts a dead possum on the mask. Looking good. I'm just saying, you got options.
That's right. It's
I scared her off.
It was funny to me too how they during the presentation today, Lenny Panzeca, the designer, or I guess that's the word, right, Mark? Yeah. Designer, yeah.
Panzeca.
He was talking about how they went to great lengths to make sure that Lady J's face was accurate, across, there all of her representations. And then at the end, but they couldn't actually say, hey, that looks a lot like Mary McDonald Lewis.
Yeah.
It was cracking me up. I was like, are they going to do it? Are they going to open themselves up? No, I can't.
No,
me saying something like that just means it's fan speculation.
The one thing about the J figure, and by and large, I think these are both really good figures. Neck's a little long. right? And this photo makes it look a little more giraffe-ish than maybe another angle, but it's a lot of neck there.
Yeah, I think the collar doesn't do it any favors in that regard.
It's possible.
But
oh, look, yeah, Joe's doing her best, Jay.
but this arm that's coming out of her backpack that you see in this photo, that is the replacement for the old school, video camera that she came with back in the day. Now she's got kind of a GoPro setup coming out of her backpack is what the explanation was.
Yeah. I don't know if that's necessary, but it shows they were, paying attention to the original loadout.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Can't really have a helmet cam when you're wearing a baseball cap.
That's right. And this picture kind of cracks me up too, because the way they set up Lady J's gear is that you can have her look exactly like she did in the old cartoon, or more for the figure. But here that we've got the cartoon's hair with the figure's javelin gun.
Yeah.
And the javelin gun is something to me that it's, you can go any which way you want with it. She can either have it or she can just throw it like she did back in the old cartoons. It's kind of your choice. So they're kind of splitting the difference in this shot here. Flint's got some interesting gear too. He's got that tack vest, but on the back of it, there's a pouch for his shotgun.
Boom blaster.
Boomstick, yes, but they did slip a few times and call it a shotgun.
They were trying to be good.
They gave it their best effort, but come on, man, just sometimes.
Joe, what did you think? I haven't heard your perspective here.
I like both figures. Her neck is not as bothersome. He looks like he always does. He did very well. I got 2 of each.
Now we're talking. I think my only nitpick, other than the neck, the spot where the very upper chest stops and then the neck comes out. That's yeah, it's looking really rough. And I don't know that there's a better way to do it, because it's a natural if you have an undershirt, right? If you have an under collar there. But Jay obviously didn't, as kind of her iconic look. So I don't know that you want to get away from it. But, I mean, there's no hiding that seam on either one of these. So,
yeah,
it's a nitpick. These are both really good. And I love the detail on Flint and the adjustable shotgun, and that he can put it on his back. And it's a good example of how you don't have to be slavish to the original design, right? You couldn't hang Flint's shotgun on his back ever. I think in any iteration of the figure, but it's cool and it works and it doesn't detract from the figure at all. So there's nothing wrong with progress or changing things up a little bit. And I think that's just a good example of it done really well.
What's funny about the Joes in particular is that as we go through this line, one of the criticisms that a lot of folks had were that the designs didn't look enough like the classic designs, particularly with Scarlet and Roadblock, right? How they didn't look anything like we were used to Scarlet and Roadblock looking. And as we go through, like these are pretty close. Like we took a decidedly we got decidedly closer to the standard look of the figures when we got to Beachhead in the Cobra Island set. And now we're really close to what the old look was with Flint and Lady J here in this run. And Zartan, who we saw just few weeks ago, is no different in that he looks very close to what he looked like back when he first premiered in 1984. So it's interesting to me that as we get further into Classified, the more we seem to be turning back the clock to everybody's iconic look.
Yeah, I dig it. And you know what? I mean, I think all the fans have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it shows a little bit of, I don't know if we can say, well, obviously they're listening, but there was a strong fan push for the double jointed elbows on the female characters, which Baroness didn't have and Scarlet didn't have. So whether or not you can take credit and say they listened, it's been updated for Jay, and I would expect it, unless they're just reusing the Baroness or Scarlet molds, it should probably continue forward. So I like that they're willing to evolve and change when they think they can improve the figure.
Are you just setting yourself up for that when the chest cut doesn't go away?
I mean, I didn't have any ulterior motive there. And look, I get it. Hardly anybody has as much problem with the chest cut as I do. So it's not like the whole fan base is screaming for it. But I'm a little different. I believe the aesthetic is a little bit more important than I think the average collector does. I think the look of the figure should be valued, I don't want to say more than the articulation, because that's why I fell in love with Joe and why I stopped collecting Star Wars. As soon as I got my first 3 3/4 Joe, it could do so much from a posability standpoint that those 5 points of articulation Star Wars figures couldn't ever do. So I don't want to be misclassified as an anti-articulation guy, because that's not true. But, for as much as we're dying to have double jointed elbows, take a look at Lady J right here. Like, it looks pretty robotic there on the back of her arm. But it will allow you to, put her in all sorts of javelin hurling positions. So there's a give and a take, and I think my line on give and take is probably a little further towards aesthetic than most fans.
And this shot here is a close up of the backpack for Lady J. They have different heads for the javelins that get stored in the backpack.
I was going to say, I think that's one of the coolest things on her, other than the patch on her shoulder, which I've already seen a guy online make it. So
didn't take long. Kind of weird though that the javelin heads are stored on the inside of her backpack.
Just take it off.
I'm glad there's a spot for them. It's better than there not being a spot for them, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just more so that it doesn't turn up like kibble. I don't know if it was done with playability in mind.
I just hope she doesn't need them in a hurry.
Right?
Hold on. Let me get my net javelin.
Just 1 second.
Just a second. I take off my backpack. Gotta be careful. Oh, that's the explosive one. Don't want to mess it up. Oh, here we go.
And there's a better look at Flint there. We got some nice deco with the shells. They're just copper on the one side, and then we've got the wood painted grip, and it flips open.
I got a question.
So it looks like he's can load it up. But go ahead, Joe.
Those shin guards, if I'm gonna be nitpicky, those shin guards are really bugging me.
Then they should have been really bugging you for every character to this point.
I know, but I don't know why. For him, is it they're not centered, or is it just how they're posing him that's bugging me? I don't know. But he's a very nice guy.
I think it's just how they're posed.
Sorry.
I think it's just how he's posed.
I got in a bit with a couple collectors online a couple months ago about the single knee pad that a lot of the Joe figures had up to this point, and saying, I get it that in your training you have a knee down, the same knee every time, and some of the guys who actually served, kind of gave me the lesson and the reasoning behind it. But I like the aesthetic of double knee pads or no knee pads at all, even though, as well pointed out to me on the thread, that it is militarily accurate to have one knee pad. The one knee pad look always throws me. So I don't have to have them, but if I'm going to have knee pads, I'd rather have them on both legs of the figure. So I think that's a good look here for Flint.
He's ambidextrous.
He's amphibious.
That's right. He shoots off of either knee.
Right? He goes both ways. Wait. Never mind.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Hey-o.
Hey, they pronounced his name when they first did it. And I don't ever remember his name being spoken on the cartoon. They pronounced it Dashiell. Right?
Yeah.
And I always read it as Dashiell. Oh, now, I'm a guy who always thought it was Magneto, too. Right?
I think it is sometimes Dashiell. I think generally it's Dashiell.
Dashiell. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we got something to fight over. Sounds
I think that's how it's actually pronounced. But I used to just think, oh, Flint must be one of those guys who goes by his middle name.
Right.
That was really what I used to think about Flint's name.
Which is like Biff or something.
Oh, it was an R.
Oh.
So he was a Ron or a Rob or a Reggie or a Randy. Macho Man Fairborn.
Fairborn. Yeah, that's it. I go with that. But one thing we can all agree on, it should have been Magneto. Can't be Magneto. Come on.
Well, he is totally Nito.
Yeah, Nito in the villain name, that's not happening. And I don't ever remember him being the master of magnetism. So get with it.
Look, Mark, I'm not going to say that you're wrong from a logical perspective.
That's it.
But
I'll take it. It's a win. I take it, we move on.
But, 50 years down the line, it's maybe a little late to take up the flag on that one.
How'd you like to find out it was Spider-Man? Did that bother you?
It's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, the robot.
It's Spider-Man.
He was a clone, right? Yeah.
Spider-Man.
All those years.
Spider-Man.
He's a lawyer. Spider-Man.
God.
Spider-Man.
One thing I do want to throw out there, because I'm pretty sure I worked with the guy who did these photos. The photos are amazing.
Yeah.
That they showed today. I mean, just outstanding.
Yeah. They've really outdone themselves with the presentation on all these for the 6-inch line.
Yeah.
And we see Flint here without his beret,
which is cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not that I think many people would ever have him without the beret because that's his signature thing. But I like that they made it an option and that both work.
Yeah,
yeah.
Look, if he's gonna be on your shelf or whatever, you can have poses where maybe his hat gets knocked off, maybe he's holding on to it. Whatever. There's lots of play value there.
Maybe you can switch it up and put a black beret on Beachhead.
That's right.
So inclined.
Give him the red beret.
It's raspberry, I think.
You could just
I like the details on the forearm.
Yeah, he must work out.
If you give him the other beret, he's the Action Force version of Flint, right?
Oh, now we're talking. And that would be amazing.
So bitter.
No.
But there's Flint with his sidearm. You see the shotgun hanging out in its holster in the back, or its pouch, or whatever you call that. I don't know. Pouch. Is it a holster when it's on the back like that?
I think it's called a poucho. It's Action Force.
Oh, right. And here they are in box. And
I like their art.
Yeah, good art there.
The art is good, but I got the same complaint I always do.
Yeah, same.
Right? Like, if you've seen the work that Jay Sullivan is doing just for you have to have seen that Beachhead that he's got up. He is like channeling Garrido. Such a good job. And they could have that on all of these. Every one of these could look like, if it was Garrido style art, but in a different pose, it would knock your socks off. I guarantee it. because they can use the original art if they wanted to, if they have it. But man, if it was Garrido styling in new poses, reflecting the new figures, I think that'd be an absolute home run. So even though I think these both look great, and these two actually look like they belong to the same line, the overall variance is something I absolutely disagree with from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And that's the end of that. That's all we got to share. I didn't get any photos of the retro line, but that's it. It was just those two figures from Classified were revealed today.
I'm pretty sure there's some photos readily available of all those retro figures.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I was beating myself up over it a little bit, and then I realized, wait a minute, these figures came out like 2 years ago. I'm not beating myself up over it anymore.
What'd you think? What'd you think of those retro figures, Mike and Joe?
Joe, go ahead.
I didn't look at them, other than the bat.
Oh, you've seen them before.
Yes, you have. You absolutely have.
So it's Jay from the social class 2-pack where it was her and the Baroness.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the Lady J. It's the Jetpack Duke from the 25th line.
Oh, no. Come on.
Without the jetpack.
But complete with his O face. Oh.
You've been waiting for 45 minutes to do that, haven't you?
Here.
No.
How are you going to do that, Duke?
And not anything else?
What if you're talking from a clothing perspective? Flint's got the beret, right? Snake Eyes has the visor. What does Duke have? The bandolier, right?
Yeah.
The bandolier. So, except this one doesn't. This one's got the straps for a jetpack.
With no jetpack.
No jetpack.
And it's got them in that weird
Maybe it'll be
forest
further
green.
down the line.
For the what?
Maybe it'll be further down the line.
For the next time they re-release this bad figure?
Yep.
That Duke looked like he's trying to cosplay He-Man with that vest thingamajig.
That's awesome. And now you can't see it.
There you go, Matt Rubin. Put the exclamation point on that one.
That's solid.
Yep. Diana doesn't even want to talk about the Duke.
That was an opportunity to take that very good Duke mold from the 50th anniversary and put them in legitimate colors, and they missed it.
As brought up by friend of the program, Bobby Valla, they have an unreleased Duke head that's already tooled that they could have used, had they been so motivated. And now look, be careful here because they may not have had any item count, right, for this specific retro wave. So they may have been limited to what's already been paid for, what's already been tooled, what's already been released. And that's probably true. So you can't say, I wish they'd have done an all new Globulus. That would have been awesome. Well, yeah, but that's apples and oranges. But already tooled means essentially already made. And we stated that line a couple of times. And, had they wanted to, or been aware of it, they probably could have got away with that. And it's just, it shows a lack of creativity and a lack of connectivity. Because when this came out, this one I think had already been decided on when I was on the brand. It was a very lukewarm to poor reception. So, okay, it's one thing to stub your toe once, but to go back and trip on that same stair again on purpose just shows a lack of connectivity with their own brand.
Yeah, but in defense, that is a good Lady J. So if you missed that the first time around, that's a good one to be able to pick up. I think that's a good Cobra Commander too. It's basically it's a re-release of the Ultimate Cobra Commander from the Retaliation line.
I think it's the one from the San Diego Comic-Con, the Missile Command set.
Is it?
Yeah, take a look at the gloves because that's the one Bobby and I. It's the one project Bobby Valla and I got to work on together, and just because we didn't overlap a whole lot. But one of the things Bobby really wanted was to redo the forearms, because Cobra Commander's iconic look is these big black gloves that go halfway up the forearm, but it's not accurate for his original look. Now, I'm not saying it's bad or wrong or they shouldn't do it, but the original Cobra Commander had little tiny black gloves down right below, the wrist cuff.
Yeah.
So that's what this one has. I think this is the San Diego Comic-Con Cobra Commander, which was a really good figure, but it's one of the things most brands try to avoid, is not to release something that was done as an exclusive originally, at least not exactly the same. So I think Mark Maha pointed out that they added a white stripe to the helmet that you would see in the cartoon sometimes.
Yes.
The big center one. So it's a little bit different, but
is that mold that they have unused making them money?
Well, no, but
Okay.
But you're trying to. What I always thought about exclusives was it should be unique enough that you don't release it exactly the same ever again, but it shouldn't be so iconic that you're breaking a collector's heart or wallet if they can't get it, right?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't put out, I don't know, Firefly, the only Firefly ever for 6-inch as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Now you might do it with a different deco, and so it's maybe it's modern camo where it's the kind of squarish rectangular look, and then you come back with his more classic blotchy camo later on. But it's something that has largely been avoided, that was not a problem on this figure. So either they don't care about it that much anymore, or maybe they didn't even notice and they just grabbed the last Cobra Commander. One thing to watch, though, that bugs me about this figure, they made a big deal about the red stripe going down the side of his right leg, but it goes right over the round peg at the knee. And so that was something, I think they got it right on the San Diego Comic-Con figure, that we wanted to make sure that peg was painted red as well. Otherwise, it's a big blue dot in the middle of this solid red stripe.
Right.
So, the one they had today, or the photos they had that big blue dot. And it's something, it's a small thing, but might as well get it right.
Right. Right. You're charging somebody $13 for a figure that came out like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Right. And who doesn't like red stripe?
Nobody.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it's America's favorite Jamaican party beer.
Yeah, man. You like it? Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. He digs it.
Yeah, man.
Spider-Man likes some red stripe.
Spider-Man say everything gonna be Iron Man.
Oh, God. Oh. Joe Colton, you were going to say something, hopefully to cover up whatever it was what Weber just did.
Nope. It was Spider-Man. Whatever.
Yeah, man.
No.
And that was the long and short of the Hasbro Fan First Friday. Joe, I'll throw this one to you first. Was there anything that did not happen today that you were hoping was going to happen today?
I was hoping for more figures, like 4 or 5 figures
For
release. Like
which line?
The classified line. Sorry, I don't really care about the regular line.
Okay.
I was gonna give it a chance, and then Destro came out, and I was like, I'm done. Nope.
Mark, how about you?
No, I was happy enough with it. They showed, most people are into the classified figs most right now, and the 2 they showed are, solid 8s, I think, right? Like 8 out of 10. They were real good. So I was happy.
We knew they were coming. Like, they had no surprises. We knew they were coming.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It would have been nifty for them to do, even if they're planning. We are expecting Major Blood. We are expecting barbecue. This is something we would do at McFarlane Toys. Is we would chop that news up. We would dice that news up because we had a daily update on our website. So we had to have something to feed out. So I needed, 7 different bits out of every new figure. So here's a shadow of the pose. Here's, a close-up of part of the figure. Here's the packaging. Here's, da-da-da-da-da. And it feels like they should get away with more of that, right? At the end, show us a shadow. Blood's not ready yet, or you just don't want to show us blood, just show us a shadow. It'll give us an idea of how, robotic that right arm is. Or, show us barbecue running and he's got the axe up. Even the shadow of that fans would be excited about. We already know he's coming. So it feels like you could squeeze a little bit more out. And that's what Pulse is for. I think they've monetized the Pulse incredibly well. But the original genesis of it was they wanted to own their own news releases. And especially where we are now, where they aren't saving anything for a JoeCon or a BotCon or maybe even a New York Toy Fair. They should be getting more mileage out of their new releases. And it just felt like that's an opportunity that was maybe missed.
Yeah. I don't think that would be as much of a problem if Joe had more of a place in the rotation for these Fan First Fridays, right? Mm-hmm. It seems like every time the announcement for these comes out, it's Star Wars or it's Transformers or it's Power Rangers. And then that's why it kind of threw a wrench into things when they actually announced a G.I. Joe one, because it's only happening every couple of months.
Yeah.
Which I know, granted, there's not a ton of product. I'm not saying that we need to have some kind of G.I. Joe thing every week. If they were doing Joe News every week, nobody would watch us.
That's not true. You take that back.
Oh, Joe, I seem to have made a swipe at the Honcho's tenuous hold of fame.
Yeah. You're hanging on.
The claws in. All right. But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one, Joe Colton. We know Major Blood's coming. There's no reason why it wouldn't be. So give us something. We know barbecue's probably coming. Give us something.
For some reason.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, hey, they put sci-fi in the video game, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody's somebody's favorite. I know a barbecue guy. Jim Buttel is a barbecue guy.
Didn't you call sci-fi, and I quote, JV Flash? That's what I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Junior Varsity Flash. I stand by that. I don't have a problem with sci-fi. But he's no Flash. He's not as cool as Flash is.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Nothing against sci-fi. He's all right. What's that?
I was going to say his hips and pants are invaluable to fix the Cobra Black Star if you're a lazy bastard customizer like a guy I know. Saving the world one banana pants at a time, baby.
One set of banana pants at a time.
Yep. I took those banana pants, I threw them across the room, backstop was like, hey, I can use those. Just doesn't change.
They're Sean Russo has it down. They don't have Honcho or Joe. Folks are willing to put up with Mike to see them.
Ooh, look at that.
So that says that's true. That's true. I think that goes without saying.
I have noticed though that our viewership is down this week, down by 1, and it's Wes actually. I just couldn't take anymore.
He's got Wes bailed.
I'm out.
He's like, I don't collect G.I. Joes. I gotta get out.
Gotta go. That's why I threw some Star Trek for him.
Where were we? We were at a comic book store that opened up recently, and the guy was like, "Oh, you need anything?" And I was like, "No, just looking." I started talking to Wes, and I'm like going over to the new releases, and he's like, "Do you want me to help start you out with something new?" And I was like, "Oh no, you don't have what I need. I'm looking for toys, and you don't have a lot of them." Also, tones tie it all together. Aw, he does have a very good voice.
See, Torpedo Mike's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You should hear him sing.
Hey,
Mike?
if we don't have if you give me a tune that doesn't have too many peaks or valleys, I could carry a tune a little bit.
I bet you can belt it out.
I'm minored in music. I know how to sing, even if it can't do it terribly well.
Might be a new segment.
But I am famous for belting out the Love Boat theme once. The very first Ladies' Night episode, I sang the Love Boat theme as the intro for that. I think it made one of the other co-hosts a little jealous because we used to laugh at him when he sang.
Yeah, I'm not.
Anyways,
I'm not saying it. It's all you.
No.
Anyhow, but if you are, if I don't understand the appeal, I'll say it as bluntly as possible. I don't necessarily understand the appeal of the retro line, and I don't think today did anything to dissuade that. If anything, I think they've done a little bit better than what I expected with the retro line once we saw what it was going to be, because at least the vehicles have some value.
Yeah.
Like the drivers that they've put out with the vehicles have been redone. In some cases, like with the Fang, you have a sturdier vehicle. So I get why you're maybe redesigning some of those. So the vehicles I get, but the figures I don't understand, and I don't think that today did anything to dissuade anybody of that.
Well, I think part of the shames is that his tank driver is a fantastic figure and such an incredible update over the old 50th anniversary, 25th anniversary one with the brutal chest cut right through what should be a vest. So it's the sad thing is it's the shining example of what's possible, right?
Yeah.
With just a little bit of tooling and a little bit of creativity. And as much as I think we all kind of recoil a little bit at $13 for one 4-inch figure, if that's the going rate for a 4-inch figure, then $25 for a HISS tank and a figure is a pretty screaming deal. So, and we haven't had vehicles in a long time, and solo pack vehicles are cool because you can buy as many HISS tanks as you want. You don't have to get. I always thought, HISS tank versus Dragonfly $70 big giant box set was a mistake. How many more HISS tanks could you sell if you put them out singly?
Mm-hmm.
So I love the vehicles, and yeah, I agree with you. That's the home run of the retro line. The rest of it, not really retro. And since they're only going seemingly after dedicated collectors and adults, most of us have these figures. So if they aren't Bats or Red Ninjas or somebody you might want to buy 2 or 3 or 85 more of, what's the point?
Yeah, our pal Carson, I think, sums up a lot of folks' feelings. That the Garrido artwork is the only real appeal of the retro line, and it's just people they're counting on everybody wanting to buy that figure to have it on that card.
Yeah. And the Snake Eyes and the Storm Shadow I bought at standard retail. One of the only times I've seen G.I. Joe product at Walmart in the last year. And yeah, there is something magic about seeing that on the peg. And I can't even tell you the smile on my face. There's a kid up, like standing on the bottom shelf trying to reach it because it was up high. And man, I knocked him down so hard. Like, sorry,
now,
baby.
Did you do the shoulder block because he was up high, or did you sweep the leg?
No. I did like the Sting DDT where you go back with it. It was phenomenal.
The Scorpion Death Drop, nice.
Yeah, never saw it coming, that poor kid. But when you knock them out cold, they don't cry. So it was a good day all around. He bent the car a little bit when he got thrown backwards that violently, but whatever, I still bought it.
Yeah, whatever. That's fine. We have seen a nice number of folks in the live auditorium here tonight. So thanks to everybody who is here and joining in. We're doing a little bit better on Friday than we normally do on Thursday. Maybe that's something to keep in mind for us for later, right? But we do have a few minutes. So if anybody has any questions from the gallery, by all means, be sure to throw them at us, and we will do our best to answer a few of those as we get through. So, Mark, Torpedo Mike wants to know, is that your finishing maneuver, the Scorpion Death Drop?
Boy, it's kind of cool because you can put it on anybody, right? You don't have to lift them up or anything. Other than Jake, because Jake's DDT was the bee's knees. But I always thought the DDT was kind of a cop-out, right? I'm not agile enough to jump off anything, and I'm really not strong enough to lift somebody up for my finisher, but how about I just, slap your back and pretend to drop you on your face? How'd that be? So
see, that's why I like the tornado DDT.
Yeah, that's what's going on there.
Because for me, if I'm going finishing maneuver, it begins and ends right here.
Yeah.
We're going diamond cutter.
Yeah, and as much as Orton has made it his move, DDP did a lot of different variations, right, and counters into it, and it was pretty sharp.
He laid the groundwork on that one,
but he didn't originate it. You remember who used it originally?
No, I don't.
Johnny Ace of the Dynamic Dudes.
Wow, yeah. John Laurinaitis,
the Ace Crusher. Yeah.
Huh.
So. Not my finish. When my brother and I would wrestle around the living room once in a while, he's older than me, and all he would try to do is get me into a headlock and make my eyeballs basically bust out of my face. But once in a while, I could get him into leg scissors or like around the neck real good. And to get the older brother to tap out, that was a proud day in the Weber household. So we're going to go with the old leg scissors. Oh, Rob's got a good point.
There you go. There's your finishing move, Mark Weber. The brutal chest cut.
Not bad. I could go with that. Yeah. Leg scissors, baby.
So Diana Davis made a comment, and I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think. She said, we must point out that at least one guy was visibly high on the live stream. Perhaps that is also an explanation for that, Duke.
All right. Good, because this is somewhere I wanted to go.
Is it?
Mark,
go ahead, Mark Weber.
It's pronounced Maha, M-A-H-E-R, Mark Maha. Mm-hmm. And he is a good friend of mine and one of my favorite people that I worked with on Hasbro. And for not that anyone would know his backstory, he was from the paint department, from the model shop. And he hand painted all the prototypes for Transformers when I was on the brand. And just an amazing talent. Loved the brand. Understood the fans, and I would pick his brain and bounce stuff off him all the time. And lots of marketers didn't even bother, right? Oh, that's the model shop, right? Like, just give me my prototypes, man, so I can break them, like most marketers do. But one of my favorite guys, great guy, and they have something that Hasbro, I think they call it swap-portunities, where they'll let somebody test out a different job for a couple months and then swap back. And so that started after I left. But I know he got the chance to swap into what he really wanted to do, which was toy design. So he swapped onto Transformers design, the job he really wanted, but they would never let him loose from the model shop because he was so talented and critical. They had no real backup for him. He injured his back at one point. And they not made him, but they leaned on him to come back quicker because they had no backup. So he came back hurt, because he loved the toys so much and the brand so much. He's shown at BotCons. He'll pull down his shirt a little bit. He has a Decepticon tattoo over his heart, right? Like, this is a guy who gets it on so many levels. And fans, cry all the time. I wish they had somebody there who cared, or somebody who knew, or somebody who loved the brands as much as we do. Maha cares more than most fans do. And he clawed his way up to the job he wants. And the stuff he's showing off right now is stuff he didn't make. He hasn't been working on the brand that long. So he's inheriting stuff that designers before him made. And it's his job to show them off. And there's nothing wrong with that. The part of the frustration of working in toy anyway is waiting a year and a half to show off the stuff you just finished. Yeah. So, and he is, and there's no better way to describe it. He sounds like Spicoli from Fast Time at Ridgemont High if he came from South Boston. That's just what Mark sounds like. And so when he comes up on these streams, the fans go nuts and go, this guy sounds baked to hell. Or, man, this guy, I'm surprised there isn't smoke in front of the screen because his natural voice sounds kind of stoner. But they're passing him off as they're belittling the effort he puts in and the fact that he is probably the biggest fan advocate inside those walls. And it's hard to swim upstream. And I've tried to fire a comment out to support him during the stream sometime, but that's just what he sounds like. And for people to say that he sounds like he's high, well, maybe he sounds that way, but the aspersion you're making is so counter to the truth. He works so hard and cares so much. And I just hope if fans understand that a little bit better, that maybe they'll give him a little bit of a break and say, you know what? None of us can change what we sound like. But when you say that guy, dude, I think that guy is baked, you're actually cutting him off at the knees. The guy who is the biggest advocate for the fans inside those walls. So get it right. Mark Maha is good peeps, and he's helping us. We may not have even seen what he's put together yet. And I don't anybody I'm still friendly with there, I don't lean on them for insight or give me a tip or some knowledge because they can't and they shouldn't. And I wouldn't want to put them in that position. But when we see the stuff he actually made and got to work on, I think you'll know, and I think you'll see the difference. So if people could help me get that word out a little bit, Maha is the best of them, and Lenny's good peeps too, and we are lucky to have them working on the brand we care so much about.
There you go.
How's that?
He'll take down a third grader, but he's loyal to his friends.
Right? But yeah, Maha is good peeps. And he's on our side. So back off.
So a little bit of conjecture time. Joe Self asks, HasLab 2022 40th anniversary of Real American Hero. What vehicle would you like to see released for Classified? Mark Weber, go ahead.
I think it could be one of two. You can go Hiss Tank or you can go Vamp. Because I think once you make them big enough to fit the Classified figures, they're out of reach for retail. So you're looking at 150, 160, maybe for an appropriately sized either one. But they're both iconic, and they're both vehicles that you might, if you're a lunatic or have a lot of extra cash, you might buy a couple of, right? I mean, not me. I don't have that kind of scratch. But there are people who would buy 4 or 5 Hiss Tanks, 4 or 5 Vamps. So I think those two are pure win as absolutely iconic vehicles that are just a little bit too rich for standard retail. I think you could get like the Ram Cycle's great, the Claw, the Trouble Bubble. I think that's stuff you might actually see at retail. But one step above, I think Vamp and Hiss Tank are either one is a sure win.
Joe Colton.
Try again.
Joe Colton.
Yeah. Okay.
Your turn.
You guys.
Your turn. Quit playing with your eyes.
Well, I'm having pain in my eyes, so I'm not really.
Well, all right. We're just teasing you. You don't have to tell the world.
Yes, I do. You're
all right.
Call me out.
Fine.
What was the question? Sorry.
2022, a 40th anniversary Real American Hero release on Hasbro Pulse. What vehicle would you release?
Probably the Vamp. Or one of the bikes. Maybe another bike, maybe.
I'm going with the G.I. Joe Battle Bunker. It holds 10 corpses.
Now we're talking.
You know how big that was?
I think the big question is would you go with the Vamp or the Vamp MK2?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just happy he didn't say it was the MKII. That would have been the end.
Yeah.
That would have been me turning it off at that point.
Hey, the gal who was there for marketing, I thought did a real good job today.
Yeah. Yeah, she moved it along.
Hallie, I think. So good job. I know I've been critical of hosts in the past, but I thought she did a good job today.
I am very appreciative of your critique of hosts in the past.
Right? I don't know what you're talking about, Joe.
Next question. Stillwind 87. So do you all think the retro line is a holding pattern to keep 4-inch Joes in retail?
It's not a retro line.
That's splitting hairs, Joe Colton, splitting hairs. Mark, you're the guy who did this for a living. What do you think?
Honestly, I didn't expect it to go beyond kind of a companion line for the movie release, given that it was the ones they chose that we knew well ahead of time. Before we knew they weren't O-ring, we already knew that it was Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Baroness. And I'm like, okay, those were the first 3 confirmed characters for the film. So I didn't think they had plans beyond that. So I'm glad that it has legs beyond that, even though the vehicles are the only exciting part so far. But I'm a fan of anything Joe. Anything that moves the line along and keeps it relevant and rolling at retail, great. And even though they've been disappointing, not what we wanted, they're still hard to find. They're selling. Now, again, without knowing the numbers, it's hard to say, whether it's a big success, but obviously it sold as well or better than they expected. So there's some appetite out there for it. So, keep it going. And maybe we'll get a little more creative. Like I've said about Lenny and Maha, let's do what they can do, right? Once their stuff is actually coming retail, let's hope that the retro line continues at least that long. I know that we wanted O-ring, that most fans wanted O-ring, and that was a logical assumption when they said retro line coming out. But even if this is all it's going to be, it's still better than what we had. So, I'll pull for it.
Joe Colton, any thoughts? You got nothing?
I didn't expect it to go this long, but like Mark said, they're in the business of making money, so they'll take it as long as it sells. So if people keep buying it, they'll keep making it.
There you go.
If tomorrow Hasbro announces the end of Classified, what 5 figures do you want in the final wave?
Ooh.
Joe Colton, why don't you take this one first?
No. Okay. Major Blood.
Okay.
Pythona.
Okay.
Pythona.
5. Oh my God. Stalker.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Low Light.
Okay.
And a Zorana.
Okay, there's 5. Mark Weber.
Well, Interrogator, because that's my boy,
That's
right?
your guy.
And you know what?
Not a surprise there.
He might not sell that well. He might not be in anybody else's top 5. But so what? You ask me. So, and then I'd like some guys that showcase stuff we haven't had yet. So Torpedo, or maybe Wetsuit, but some kind of Frogman would be awesome. I'd love to see Ripcord, or maybe Hit and Run. Hit and Run's awesome. Everybody likes Hit and Run. A Crimson Guard. That one, though, Target exclusive for the Crimson Guard. Just, because
you need to have more people have aneurysms about troop builders.
Because it makes sense, right? It's a troop builder everybody wants. It's going to Target limited release.
You're giving a figurative Scorpion Death Drop to everybody's inner third grader.
That's what I'm talking about. Here it comes, baby. And then Hawk. Gotta have Hawk, right? And I would do the version 2, the bomber jacket Hawk, I think would be a great figure. So there's my 5.
Okay. I would go Flash because he's like varsity sci-fi.
Yeah.
I want Mutton Junkyard.
That's good.
I want Scrap Iron. I think Serpentor is the kind of guy who this sort of a line screams for. And lastly, of course, Ice Cream Soldier.
Yeah.
No, not Ice Cream Soldier. No.
Mercer.
Anybody but Mercer is fine. I would even take like Taurus just to say, hey, look at this.
Whoa!
We thought about Mercer, but no, we don't.
I want the Mercer Recondo 2-pack. So I can laugh and laugh.
I was going to take number 5 as Recondo just to tick off Joe Colton because she hates him now for some reason.
No, Beachhead version 2.
Yeah. Version 1 is so good. He'll keep me.
Yeah.
But that's good. There, we're coming up on an hour and a half, so we probably ought to start bringing this into the station. Mark, you get anything in this week?
You know what I got in? And actually, we celebrated my wife's birthday because she was out of town for her actual birthday. And so what she got in, right? It's getting real close. Not just any Wolverine, but look at that, man. That's the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, right? And years ago, I dragged my new bride to the X-Men movie, which I was so hyped up about because look out, right? Like, I'm a huge X-Men fan, and it was on the big screen, couldn't believe it. And she was like, comic book movie? And I'm like, just bear with me. Look, it's got to be pretty good. And she saw Hugh Jackman and was like, I'm in. Comic books are great. Hugh Jackman made my wife a comic book fan. So I got no problem with that. She once asked me if I'd get a tattoo of his face on my face, which I thought was a little much. But yeah, so I think it was a great pull from Hasbro right now before Disney comes out with their version of the X-Men to pounce on the Fox figures that never really got made at that scale and dive in and make those X-Men things. So for her birthday, she got what she's always wanted, Hugh Jackman in a tank top.
There you go.
I danced with him on Broadway once. Funny story, I'll tell you sometime.
Getting his face tattooed on your face would interfere with the tattoo of your face you have on your face.
That's true, but I don't think she would have minded one bit.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know if you know a tattoo guy that good.
Yeah, she loves him, but I danced with him. So there's that.
She's jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else this week, Mark?
Nah, that's it. It was light week.
Joe Colton. No?
Not even a Santa.
Your Santa streak got broken?
I was working 12-hour days.
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying you have to buy it. That's what husbands are for.
You got me one.
Well, that was like 2 weeks ago. Saying.
All right, here we go. The sight of shirtless Stephen Amell is how I got a friend to watch Arrow. And that friend was the wristlock Wes Whitlock. I'm with you though, Joe. I didn't get anything in this week either. It was a light week. We got too much going on. Too much bitness going on.
Yeah.
Joe wanted a shirtless Green Arrow so much he married one.
Right?
I did.
Yeah.
He's
right. Why?
He's doing little clip clop things while he learns how to shoot off horseback.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we were going to buy a lawnmower when we got the house. And he was like, I want a riding mower. And I was like, well, the property's not like that big, but I guess you can have one. Sure, whatever. And he's like, you know why? He's like, it's going to be really cool. I can learn how to shoot arrows off of it while I'm mowing the lawn. And I was like, nope.
He has an honesty problem. We need to coach him on that. I think, Mark. I think we need to step in there.
No,
teach him not to reveal the end games to his crazy plans until. Yeah,
I like the extrapolation here of a target hanging on a tree with an arrow sunk pretty close to the bullseye, and then a Wes on a lawnmower-sized hole in the fence, right? Like straight out of Looney Tunes. And him unconscious on the other side of the wreckage with a big smile on his face.
Mark,
so
Mark, do you have
I hit the bullseye, baby.
Do you have any shout outs?
Oh, I do have a shout out, and I wrote this down to make sure I got it right. So we talked about Andrew Griffith, right, who's taking over the penciling duties on A Real American Hero.
Yes.
So on his Facebook page, which I think anybody can find, and Griffith is, you might know his work on Transformers, Micronauts, Masked, upcoming on Joe. So he posted that he has a friend who has some medical bills coming up. She has a malignant tumor on her thyroid. So he's helping raise money for her, and he's doing art. So if you want a sketch from him, and he said, as long as it's not XXX or hateful, so as long as you're willing to play within those very narrow goalposts.
Joe.
He has basically a list up of what each sketch would cost from, and this is like, he's really talented. And so he'll do a head sketch, 9x12 for $50. That's amazing from a guy who's going to be the lead artist on the main G.I. Joe book, all the way up to a full figure 11x17 for like $200. And there's all sorts of stuff in the middle. But he's raising money for a friend of his who's got some fiscal needs based on a medical condition. So A, good for him. And B, if you're a Joe fan and you'd like to have the artist from the main G.I. Joe book draw your guy or gal, it's a wonderful opportunity. And so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to ask for because I it's something I want to support. And hey, man, so, an original piece of art from the Joe artist is a rare opportunity. And say again.
Is the page open?
I would hope so.
Okay. I'll look for it after.
I'm his friend, so I can see whatever he types. But
excuse me.
I'm sure I should have researched it more. I'm sure he's got a website. There's got to be ways to contact him. So, but Andrew Griffith, the new penciler for Joe, will draw. I don't know. Maybe you're a Recondo guy. Maybe you're a Mercer guy. He'll draw.
Nobody's a Mercer guy.
Yeah, maybe it's Mercer fighting a whole bunch of robots. Whatever you want, as long as it's tasteful and not hateful, he'll draw it for you. So check out Andrew Griffith. I think fans, if you're not familiar with his work, you're gonna love him on the Joe book. And here's an opportunity to have something on your wall. Like, there ain't a lot of interrogator stuff out there, right? But if you happen to be an interrogator honk like me, he's probably not going to be on the cover of A Real American Hero anytime soon. But it don't matter because I can have it right up on my wall. So
you don't know. Maybe he'll have a surprise for you.
You never know. I'm a big fan. I'm helping him out. Give him some pub.
Got some untold tales coming up. Maybe he turns up there.
Love it. Love it. He was in Hearts and Minds. Great issue if you haven't read it. So anyway, Andrew Griffith will draw your favorite Joe with proceeds to support a friend of his in need. So love it. Want to support it. Give it up for Andrew Griffith. And we already talked about it for our friends who did such good work on yojo.com, to Philip Donnelly, to Terry Gizzard, and a lot of others, actually. We're all sorry about the development with yojo.com, but it's a good opportunity to give those guys praise and thanks for their, more than a decade of hard work, fueling the best resource anywhere for the hobby we all love.
Too true. Too true.
Here, here.
Joe Colton, shout outs.
The guys from yojo.com, but Mark took it. Frontline workers.
You can also give shout outs to the same people,
I could give shout outs to the same people.
We have been over this many times in the 4 years you have been on the program.
I know, but I don't like repeating everything.
Oh, I forgot frontline workers too.
Good call, Mark. Good call.
Because they're the best. Okay, sorry, Joe, you were saying.
Whatever. All right, yes. The guys at Yojo, you guys have done an exceptionally amazing job for 15 years. It's highly appreciated. It's sad what happened, but like Mark said, it's an opportunity. If you guys decide to do something else, we are here to support you and we'll help in any way we can. The frontline workers, numbers are going up, and it's going to be a scary winter. So please wash your hands, wear your masks. If you have to see family during Thanksgiving and you can't avoid it, wear your masks, social distance, be good. Care for your fellow man.
I like how you put that. If you have to see your family and can't avoid it.
I mean, really, this is the holiday season people have been waiting for, isn't it? Like everybody dreads Thanksgiving. I mean, I personally, I don't. I actually like my family, so I'm going to miss Thanksgiving this year. But
I love my mom and dad.
But yeah, I would rather continue to see them going forward than kill everybody in one shot with this year. So, I mean, really, for everybody who hates Thanksgiving and hates having to get together with family, you'd think that you would be taking advantage of this bona fide excuse to not see anybody this year.
Or the opportunity to wipe them all out in one weekend.
See, now you're not flattening the curve, Mark.
Look, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I see it as an just like what happened with Yojo. It's an opportunity. There, an opportunity to say thank you. Here, an opportunity to wipe out the family you don't like.
Yes.
Goodness.
Just saying.
Who else you got, Joe Colton?
That's it. I'm good.
You're good after that. That's probably for the best. I am going to give a shout out to, of course, Racktime Rob, the unsung hero and fourth man of our operation.
Ole.
Be sure to catch Ole the Rock Anderson and Racktime. It's on our Podbean feed. You can find the link to all of our audio archives down below. I'd like to give a shout to everybody who joined us in the live stream tonight. We had a good crowd tonight. I really appreciate it. Please like the video, share the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to us. We need to continue to grow this thing. It's going to allow us to be able to do a lot more for you. But we have to get this. We have to continue to get this thing off the ground. We've made some good strides in recent months, but we got to get going. So, hopefully, when we come back after the holiday, we will have a contest for you that we will be able to. It'll be a real easy one. Get us to 500 subscribers, and we'll do a contest, or get us to 1,000 subscribers, and we'll do a contest. We're not going to do any jumping through hoops thing. We're just going to make you spread the word and do our PR for us. But more words on that once we get it all lined up and put together. Shout out to our sponsors over at Kokomo Toys. You can find their eBay store down in our show notes down below. Be sure to shop them. They have a great eBay presence. So if you are not wanting to leave the house, and you should not be wanting to leave the house, Kokomo Toys is a great alternative for you to get your fix for yourself or for others. So again, shop at their eBay store down below. And that's about it for us tonight here on What's on Joe Mind. As Joe made mention to before, we are still in a pandemic. We didn't stop being in a pandemic just because we're tired of being in a pandemic, because we are all tired of being in a pandemic. So exercise your freedom of choice and choose to not get the people around you sick with this terrible, terrible disease that they call COVID-19. And wear your mask, wash your hands, practice social distancing, and just generally, as an aside, we're all in a tough spot right now. Be kind to one another. Just be good out there. Be responsible members of society. People do not have to think the same as you. They do not have to act the same as you. They just have to respect your space, and you have to respect theirs. And that's going to make everything over the next couple of weeks and couple of months just a lot better if we just keep that in mind. But anybody got any last minute? Anything? No?
It's good.
All
I was
right.
nice to have some new Joe news to talk about. I'm happy that our crew followed us to a Friday night, because sometimes when you move nights, suddenly it's a little hard to follow. But good to see the crew watching. And yeah, I'm excited about the new classified pigs. I thought they look real good, and it shows it's a nice direction the overall brand is headed in. So I'm excited about that.
Good deal. Joe Colton?
Good.
Okay.
I'm so exhausted, guys. It's been a long week.
Joe, what's the count? How many days? How many days left?
60 days. I found
60
a
days.
counter. There's a counter that I have.
But we will not have a show next week. Next week is the Thanksgiving holiday, so we're taking time off. Provided nothing huge happens. If something just huge and earth-shattering breaks over the next week, we will probably stop in with a little bit of our rigmarole if we can. But no guarantees there. So if it's a normal week, don't count on seeing us. We will be back the week after Thanksgiving. Potentially with a new date and time. We're still working on that. So it might not be Thursday anymore.
That's a tease.
My butt is leg.
Anyways, for everybody here at What's on Joe Mind, I'm Mike, my co-host Mark and Joe. Have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Be good.